Okay, now I'm going to go through everything that was included in the Scott frame package that I bought. This is the Scott Spark 900 RC frame that comes with the Fox 32 factory float shock and the hardware you need to control it with a remote. So here's the shock. It comes out to about 4 pounds, and which is, I think it came out to about 2,000 grams, a little over 2,000 grams, and then the shock came out to about 1,600 and something grams. So very lightweight package for both of them. Comes with the Fox Nude Shock that is part of the Scott program with the controls for using a remote. It comes with the seat post clamp, and it does not come with a bottom bracket. It does come with a headset, which I'll show you in the package here in a second. It comes with the derailleur hanger and various dropouts that you can use. This right now is set up for a 12mm axle, which I'll show you that in the package in a minute. But this is a BB92 bottom bracket, which measures out to 89.5, and then I use a 2.5mm spacer on the drive side to fit that bottom bracket on there properly to work with my XTR crank setup. So that is the frame. Let's go through some of the parts that came in the frame package. First, we're going to go through a couple of the dropout options that come with the Scott frame. The one that comes already ready to go with the Scott frame is the 12mm axle, which just goes in here like that. It already has the dropout and derailleur hanger already loaded in here, and this is a 142 by 12 axle setup, which is what I'm going to use. But they give you a couple of other different options. First of all, they've got this option, which is a quick release version, which is the 135 by 5mm axle. So what this comes with is a derailleur hanger dropout that goes on this side over here. So you can see that okay. That goes on this side over here. And then on the opposite side of that, on the flip side of that, we have this piece here that goes in this place right here. And then on the opposite side over here, let's see if I can show you that, this goes here like this. And that drop-up piece goes there. So to be able to accept this axle. So this would go through from this side, and on the opposite side is the axle would screw in here with the other piece that's attached. So those pieces go together, the 4 pieces go together for the 135 by 5mm axle setup. Then we've got a couple other pieces here. This is for a 135 by 12mm axle, so you would still use the same axle, but this piece right here goes inside here, which has got the derailleur hanger, but you can see it's quite a bit thicker than the one that's in there right now. So that's the difference between the 142 and the 135. That would go there, and then this would go on the opposite side over here. And that's how you get those 2 pieces. So those are the 3 different options. Now the other thing that comes in the package is this is a duplicate of the one that's already on there. This is the 142 derailleur hanger. They just give you a spare, which is nice. And then they give you this other derailleur hanger, which is again for another 142 that goes in there in this place. It gives you a slightly different lineup for where the derailleur hanger is going to go, so it's much closer in and it's much shorter. So you can see the difference there. It would be like that versus that. I hit that backwards there. That versus that would be something like that. So anyway, so that's the different dropout options. I'm going to go through some of the headset parts now. When I was showing the different bottom bracket options, I showed the three pieces that come for the 135 by 5mm axle, but I think I missed showing this piece. So both the dropout, or actually the three different dropout choices you have, which is the 135 by 5, the 135 by 12mm axle, which this is, and then the one that's on the bike is the 142 by 12mm axle. So these are the three pieces that come with the 135 by 12. So they color code them to make it easy. So you got the red, the silver, and the black option, which is on the bike. Okay, now I'm going to go through some of the headset parts. So the cups are already integrated into the frame. So where the bearings are going to seat is already included on the frame, on the front and the bottom, top and the bottom. And so what we've got here is a bottom bearing, a top bearing. This fits into the top bearing. This goes on the top, and this sleeve right here goes on over your fork and goes through there. And I'll go through a couple measurements if you want to kind of show you what those measurements are. So that internal diameter there is 40mm internal diameter there. This of course should also be 40. And then this diameter here is 30mm. Okay, so that should all line up well for that. And then this is a compression ring that when it's tightened, it will tighten around the steer tube. And that is 28. Goes down from there, so that will end up going over there like that. So let me just put these parts in. So this slides in the bottom there. This bearing slides in the top there. This goes in there. This would go over top of that. Like that. This piece is going to fit on top of the fork, which will sit in there like that. And get there nice and tight. The top of the steer tube, once you put this in there and cut the steer tube, let's see if I can do this on. Line it up here. Probably should go in there like that. That will be put in there like that. Then of course I'm going to cut my steer tube. We got spacers and a star nut and cap that's going to go on top of that, which of course goes on top of the stem. So that's the parts for the headset that come with the Scott frame. Okay, a couple more things that come with the Scott frame or the Twinloc setup, which allows you to do the climb, trail, descend on your shocks. Both controls both the front and rear shocks, and you can see on this one they've got both of them integrated right here. Some of them have a cable that goes from one cable to two cables, but you can put them individually right into the Twinloc, which you can see this will just clamp. Zoom in on this a little bit. This will just clamp right onto your bar. And then your cables, which they included these yellow Jaguar cables, will go from here. One will go to it actually says right here, so this goes to the top, goes to your Nude CTD, which is your rear shock, and this goes to your front shock right here. And the yellow cable here will go from Fox, and it will end up connecting on here onto this, on the right side of the shock. And then this one will connect onto the shock that's on the frame. It'll connect onto this blue thing right here, and you can see it's just connects right onto there. Okay, so the cable comes in here, and there's a little set screw in here that you tighten right there. I'll show you the set screw. Just tighten that set screw, the cable wraps around it, and that allows you to control your shock setting on the rear shock. I'm trying to get a better view of it on the top here. It's hard to do it here with where I've got the camera set up. It can be blurry. There you go. So it goes into the top cap here, comes around, and that wire gets tightened into that set screw right there. So, and it gives you all the parts that you need. It comes with your inner cable, comes with your outer cable, the Twinloc, a couple little wire crimps to keep your wires nice and clean. It also comes with this piece right here. Let me zoom in here a little bit. What this piece is to replace, if you're not going to use a Fox fork, if you're going to use a RockShox DNA3, what it says on here, you can replace this little piece right here, and I guess it gives a different throw for the amount of cable that needs to be pulled when you activate your Twinloc. So the way the Twinloc works is on your bar, you have it clamped up like that on your bar. It is 1 click, 2 click, and then this releases it. This button releases it. It goes 1, 2. There's no pressure on it right now because the pressure actually comes from the springs and the shocks. 1, 2, and then it springs back into place 1 click at a time. So that's the Twinloc, and that is the Twinloc parts. There's a couple more parts that come with the frame. The frame actually had this quick release seat post clamp on it. I went for the lighter weight version. Okay. So here's the lightweight seat post clamp that comes on the frame also. So I will use this lightweight one instead of this one. I mean, the weight difference is significant. Probably 40-gram difference between the two seat post clamps. So that's what also comes. This is the derailleur hanger for, I think it's for a Shimano E-type derailleur hanger. I'm not using a front derailleur. I'm just doing a 1x11 system, so I'm not going to use any of that. The other thing is that this system also comes where you can change your bottom bracket height by flipping around these little asymmetrical tabs in here to either high or low. So it moves the nut either back or forward and will basically change when that nut gets moved back. It makes the bottom bracket either higher or lower. Right now it is in the low setting, so I could flip this around, which would put the swing of the background back down and put us in a high bottom bracket setting. So anyway, so that's the frame. Okay, and I'm just going to quickly go over the fork itself, which is pretty self-explanatory. But what it comes with is a 15mm axle, which this one does like that. Pretty standard. The CTS, which I showed you before, control there. This top cap here, which has got your air line for the top. And then of course, you've got your rebound sitting down here on the bottom. So let's you change your plus or minus on the rebound setting. Another thing this did come with is a little clamp that goes on here and attaches on there to help hold your hydraulic brake cable. And it comes with this little manual. It comes with a 26cm steer tube. This is a 100mm shock, and that should be it for the Fox Shock. So I'll give you a quick look at it. Again, one more thing. This is where post mount are for your brakes. There you go. Okay, so both sides of that. And that's the nice little Fox Shock that comes complete with the Spark 900 RC Frameset. Okay, again, this is everything that comes with the Fox frame. I'll just go over everything again real quickly. First of all, you got your two seat post mount options. You got your Twinloc with your outer and inner cables. It comes with a bunch of zip ties and your cable ends. The RockShox adapter. This goes on the derailleur hanger. This is your whole headset selection right here. All different, everything you need for your headset. This is the 135 by 5mm axle option. This dropouts here is the 135 by 12mm axle dropouts. Here is your 142 by 12mm axle with an extra derailleur hanger and this other derailleur hanger option. And of course, last but not least, the box shop that comes with it. So that is the whole package all together.